Now, the government of Lagos State has issued a demolition warning to the proprietor of $200 landmark beach resort, a leading tourist spot, because it obstructs the planned route of a 700-kilometer coastal road intended to connect the state with Calabar. Paul Onuwanibe, who is 58, said that in late March, he was given a notice to vacate his multi-million-dollar beach resort within 7 days for its impending demolition. Now, Mr. Paul said that the landmark property, worth over $200 million US, accommodates more than 80 businesses and sustains over 4,000 jobs directly. Additionally, the company claims it contributes more than 2 billion naira in taxes each year. Let's take a look at some of the reactions on social media. The first reaction said, assuming this beach resort is built in the eastern part, such thing won't happen. Government won't disturb. Our brothers should learn how to invest in the east. Another reaction said, I try as much as possible to avoid talks of Igbos investing in Lagos. But honestly, it's so heartbreaking. In the same climb, it should be compensated, considering the fact that he acquired the land before the plans for the coastal road was even made. Another reaction said, you can't even give a one-room occupant only 7 days to vacate. How much more an entire business? Hence, I maintain my stand that this is clear wickedness. Another reaction: if the powers that can bring down a multi-million-dollar investment in Lagos, who am I to buy a property in Lagos today? Chukwadru. Another reaction: they should have known or learned from the aftermath of the civil war. Lagos State giving him 7 days to vacate the land he bought legally without considering how much he invested in the beach resort. Igbos will be fined one day, just like Ghana. Another reaction: 7 days notice without a parley between the government and the owners of the resort on the means of compensation, since the property was duly acquired with titles. And then they're not ready for this Lagos demolition discussion yet. If we talk now, they will say they bought the property from unverified sources. Why sell land in the first place if you know it's in the government's plan? At least now we know the government's plan even came after. And the final reaction: I want to believe that being a wealthy business mogul, he hasn't overlooked this possibility or doesn't have a contingency plan. It could negotiate an agreement with the government, and in the worst case scenario, it could potentially sue the government. Josh, how do you react to this?
First of all, since 2023, right, we've been experiencing, a loss, economic loss, and especially when it comes to the real estate sector. Both in Lagos and in Abuja, we've seen various building demolition by Lagos State government and, of course, the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike. In 2023 alone, Nigeria has been able to experience about $20 billion remittances when it comes to monies that have been sent from Nigerians who live in diaspora. So perhaps they could be sending to parents, they could be sending to family members to build properties for them and all of that. Now, this is what we have been experiencing, where properties have been built, then Lagos State government comes up and say, well, this area is under government acquisition, blah, blah, blah. It's on the right of way, blah, blah, blah. For that reason, it's going to be brought down. Now, the question is, before now, we weren't experiencing this issue. So some persons are feeling that this is vendetta on the part of government because of the last outing at the general election. Now, if they are going to prove us wrong, what happened before then? Were they building demolition? No. Were they building demolition in Abuja? Certainly not. So why are we having it now? And now come to look at it. This individual, are you telling me that he has not carried out due diligence? No businessman invests in a very foolish manner. Whether or not you want to say, you want to bring it down to tribe, it has got nothing to do with tribe, because even non-speaking Igbos also invest in Lagos. Some have also been affected. Right, so it's not an issue of because it's from the east or a part of the region in the country. That's why we're experiencing this. It has been the case ever after the election. Now the question is, if this man has built this structure, are you telling me he doesn't have a plan B? Just yesterday, he consulted with building experts in the world, and they come up with two options. One of the options is that they cannot bring down that building, because if it was a fixed building, perhaps they could remove it from the joints, the way Sheraton is. I'm going to give them that credit, because obviously a building like Sheraton can be moved from one place to the other because it's fixed. So all they need to do is disjoint it from this joint, and then they move it to the next location. he didn't put that in that particular structure. But then he consulted, and the option he got is that they can do a bypass, depending on where the Lagos coastal line will go through. So they can do a bypass. You don't have to bring down a whole building. And if Lagos State insists that they are going to bring down that
then
building,
they would have proved us right.
then there's something involved.
All right, Uche.
I'm sure you already know my reaction because it doesn't make any form of sense. It doesn't. The Landmark Beach Resort has been there for years now. No issues, no problems. And I totally agree with George. I do not think this is a tribal issue right now. I think it's just power drunk people trying to show themselves for who they are, and personal vendetta for whatever reason. Because I mean, there's this I think a movie producer or music producer that his property was also brought down in Lekki, and he's Yoruba. I think he's actually from Lagos. So I don't think this is a time to play the tribal card. I think this is a time to hold people accountable for being very vindictive. You understand? And for an investment like the Landmark Beach Resort, that has over 200,000 people in their employ. Do you know how many persons work in that place and are paid? Nobody in that place has ever complained of being owed salaries. Do you understand? It takes care of over 4,000 jobs. It's a lot. And if the Lagos State government will not consider their contribution to the IGR of Lagos State, their input to Lagos State, and they want to bring it down. And please, it is very laughable. This 7 days conversation is very, very laughable. A landlord that has a block of 1-room self-contained flats does not give 7 months, 7 days. You have to give like 6 months notice, even up to a year.
Now in Lagos is 6 months.
Do you understand? Before, not to talk of that type of massive establishment, where do you want them to go to? As in they should tie a wrapper on their head and carry it and be going, or how do you expect them to? And the fact that there is no conversation around compensation is also very, very,
How much
questionable.
compensation in real value will he get?
Start the conversation first, then we can find a way around it, like the bypass that you mentioned. The fact that they are not even considering it in the first, like you expect a man to just sit back and watch that amount of investment go down is very, very unfair. It's beyond unfair. And if he decides to sue, please, he reserves the right to do that.
True.